In this documentary series, we will delve into the fascinating history of cinema, exploring its inception, the pioneering motion pictures that shaped its early years, the transformative movements that have left an indelible mark on the film industry, and the influential directors who have guided its evolution. We'll unravel the theories and philosophies that have emerged around cinema, gaining insights into the ways movies are constructed and interpreted. Furthermore, we'll introduce you to the brilliant minds behind the lens and on paper, discussing the groundbreaking work of renowned cinema theorists who have illuminated the art and craft of filmmaking. Whether you're a seasoned cinema enthusiast or just starting to explore the world of film, we invite you to join us on this cinematic voyage. Together, we'll decode the language of cinema, dissect movies to uncover their hidden depths, and gain a deeper appreciation for the rich tapestry of cinematic history. Man's curiosity about cinema can be traced back to the cave paintings of the early ages. On the walls of the Lascaux cave in France, there are wall paintings from the Paleolithic period. The subject of the paintings, which are usually monochrome, are animals. Another characteristic of these paintings is that the animals were sometimes drawn with 8 legs instead of 4. Thus, it is intended to indicate that the animal does not stand still, but walks, moves. These drawings can be considered as the first seeds of both animation cinema and comics in the history of civilization. At the same time, it is possible to find people's passion for moving images in shadow play of Far Eastern origin. Human and animal figures made of parchment or thin metal plates were projected onto a silk curtain illuminated from behind, and moving images were obtained on the screen. The illusion underlying cinema is based on the fact that the brain continues to perceive the image falling on the retina of the eye for a short time after it disappears and perceives successive retina images as moving. For this reason, the human eye sees the images in film frames projected successively on a screen at a certain speed in a continuous movement. This feature of the eye that forms the basis of cinema was known long before the invention of photography. For example, the impression of movement could be created by rapidly turning books with a picture drawn on each page. The ancestor of cameras is known as camera obscura. In its simplest form, it is a darkened room with a small hole in one wall. The light passing through this hole creates an upside-down image of the image outside on the opposite wall. This phenomenon was first mentioned by Aristotle in the 4th century BC, and was later developed and used in painting. The ancestor of the movie screen is the lanterna magica, one of the most important inventions of the 17th century. The magical lantern, which allows a picture painted on a transparent object to be projected onto a screen by means of intense light from a light source, was realized almost simultaneously by 2 clergymen. The Belgian researcher known as Robertson developed the magic lantern. Robertson performed his demonstrations in a hall covered with black curtains with frightening paintings hanging on the walls, supported by sounds such as the clinking of chains, the ringing of bells for the dead, screams and cries. A newspaper of the time wrote the following about these performances: "If you want to see the dead come to life, go to Robertson. You will see how he summons the spirits and leads them through the rivers of hell." Later, the Belgian physicist Joseph Plateau invented the phenakistoscope in 1832. In 1853, Austrian Franz von Eucachius combined a magic lantern with a phenakistoscope to project moving images on a screen. Meanwhile, 2 Frenchmen, Jacques Monde Daguerre and Joseph Nicephore-Niepce, invented photography. They succeeded in fixing the pictures taken in the dark room on sensitive substrates by means of mercury vapor. Thus, another important step was taken towards obtaining moving pictures, and reality could be authentically detected through photography. After the invention of photography in 1839, methods were developed to capture motion as still photographs at equal and very short intervals. In 1878, the great French physiologist Mary and the famous American photographer Mybridge used an improved phenakistoscope to distinguish the stages of the horse's movement and to study the flight of birds. Mybridge, who emigrated from England to America at the age of 20, became famous as a photographer. While photographing the construction of the Central Pacific Railroad, he met Leland Stanford, the owner of the railroad company. Leland Stanford, who kept racehorses and had served as governor of California, wanted to solve a problem that had puzzled scientists in those years. The problem was whether all four of a running horse's feet were off the ground. On Stanford's farm, Mybridge conducted an experiment for this purpose in 1872. 12 cameras were placed side by side, equally spaced, in a wooden barrel. He stretched ropes across the floor of the road in front of the barrage. The end of each rope was connected to the button of a camera. A horse was made to run along the road. As the horse ran, it pressed each rope, allowing its photograph to be taken. However, Mybridge could not follow up this first experiment, because he was going to kill his wife's lover with a single bullet. Arrested, Mybridge remained in prison until February 1875. The trial was held. The jury found Mybridge not guilty, because in the America of those years, honor killing was not considered as murder. Released from prison, Mybridge returned to Stanford in 1877 to complete the experiment on the horse's gait. The footage showed that all four legs of the horse were off the ground. Then, in 1882, Frenchman Etienne Jules Méry invented chronophotography. With this mechanism, in which a film strip replaced the bullet in a pistol assembly, he captured the flight of a bird. A few years later, in 1888, Louis M. Augustin Leprince, another French inventor living in England, shoots two films, but Leprince mysteriously disappears during a train ride to Paris for a film screening. Leprince was planning to apply for a patent for his invention in New York, but neither his body nor his suitcase was found. His family blamed Edison, who had won the patent war, but to no avail. In 1888, Émile Reynaud registered the copyright of his etch-hole film strip system. Using a device he called the praxinoscope, he organized live picture shows in front of hundreds of excited spectators, with the pictures rotating through the holes. The show was accompanied by music. In 1892, Thomas Edison registered the copyright for a filming machine called the kinetograph. Unfortunately, the images were small and could only be seen by a single audience. In the next section, we will discuss how the Lumiere brothers discovered the cinematograph, how cinema began and its first examples.